Hello and welcome back to Stream On. I am Hollis. With me, as always, is Eila. Hello, Eila.
Hello there.
This week, we are going to visit something that is always on the streaming services because it's a classic. It is a perfect film. It is one of the top 10 films Hollywood ever produced, I'm going to say. You agree?
Oh, completely.
Before we get rolling, as you know, Eila, I collect records at thousands and thousands of records.
I see them behind you.
Yeah, they are not easy to hide. And one of them, of course, is the Jaws soundtrack, which I love.
Without the music, I don't think this movie succeeds.
No, the music is like another character. I hate when people say that, but it's true in this case.
Oh, for sure. Well, it is the shark.
It is the shark. It is the avatar of the shark, if you will. But also, you know, many movies came out in the wake of Jaws trying to cash in on the don't go in the water hysteria that Jaws started.
I remember Orca.
Orca. Oh my God. That is one of the most brutal killing scenes. Richard Harris just killing an orca is just the grossest thing I've ever seen in my life. But only one of those ripoff films was actually also written by the author of Jaws, the book Jaws, and that is Peter Benchley's The Deep.
Oh, I remember that.
It came out during the 70s, the disco craze. So there's like Disco Calypso is one of the songs on it. Love Theme from the Deep by Donna Summer.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. But it did something, that soundtrack, that I wish Jaws had done. And that's blue vinyl.
I didn't even know blue vinyl was a thing.
Oh, it's been a thing since like the 40s even, I think.
So what does that mean, blue vinyl?
Does
it sound
you know what? Vinyl doesn't have color until they color it.
Oh,
and so they drop in these colored pellets that give it the color. So all they have to do is drop in blue. But I mean, Casablanca Records, leave it to them.
Yeah.
Blue for the water. But anyway, I digress. We're here to praise the movie itself. Did you rewatch for this, or did you just roll out of bed and ready to go?
No, I did rewatch. I just wanted everything fresh. How about you? You didn't have to, I know.
I know I didn't have to, but it's actually playing right now in the background. It's just wallpaper at this point. But yeah, we're jumping in because Eila had the idea to do it because I believe this upcoming week is the 50th anniversary of its release.
So I got an email. I don't even know from who, but it was saying that this was the 50th anniversary and there were all these events to participate in on Martha's Vineyard. So I immediately texted you and said, this is the 50th anniversary. We must do Jaws.
Yeah. I mean, Martha's Vineyard has been leaning into Jaws festivities for decades. They'd have been crazy if they didn't.
Right. I mean, it's what people know, that and Carly Simon, right? That people know it for.
Yeah. And John Belushi. I know that from all those halcyon summers he spent out there when he was trying to lose weight. Yeah. I mean, Martha's Vineyard just looks like, and by extension, Amity, just looks like the most bucolic, gorgeous place to spend time.
Yeah. I know. It's its own society. It's like they're cut off from the rest of the world, it seems like.
Yeah. That's what's so frightening about when the shark comes. No help is coming.
Right, exactly. And Ellen will never be a local.
Never. You're not born here. You're not an islander. Sorry.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That woman does not want to talk about it anymore.
My God. Yeah. I love that local woman. She's what keeps Amity running.
Yeah.
Mayor Vaughn and that woman. That's it.
And Mrs. Kintner, was she a local?
Mrs. Kintner is perhaps the biggest cipher in this whole thing. she Alex Kintner's mom, who is mourning his loss by shark attack, she lost her boy, but is she also a widow? Was that old guy her husband? Was he her dad?
Think he was. I don't know. It was very hard to tell because she looked 100 to me at the time, right? So she looks way older than I'm sure she's supposed to be, having a kid that age. I just assumed that was her husband, but I don't know. He didn't say a word.
No. I always assumed he was her dad, especially when I was younger. I had like age bias. I was like, oh, they couldn't be together. But yeah, weird. Because I would think he would want a piece of Chief Brody too.
Right. Oh, she's tough, that Mrs. Kintner.
She
But I heard
is.
that the actress was actually from Martha's Vineyard, but I don't know that. I could be making that up.
Yeah, so many stories about this film are apocryphal, maybe.
Okay.
That you're not sure if it's true or not.
But
But
she's good.
she is so good. She's believable. That's why you can believe something like that. They plucked her from Martha's
Right.
Vineyard.
I know.
But speaking of her, the one of the most I think it may be the most gore-filled scenes in the whole it's got to be the most bloody scene is the Alex Kintner blood fountain.
Yeah.
And I really think someone should build that as a fountain and use red food coloring. And the middle is a statue of Alex Kintner.
Well, now's the time for the 50th.
That's right. Come on, Martha's Vineyard. You're on the clock.
Celebrate Alex's what? Would be 60th birthday, maybe?
Oh, the poor guy. Yeah, he would have been.
And how brutal that in that one scene, they kill not only a kid, but a dog.
Pip it. Yeah.
Oh.
That's what's great is the killing of the dog is sort of the dog whistle, if you will, that terror is coming.
And I think that's what makes the movie so scary because nobody is off the hook. If you're killing a kid and a dog in like one of the early scenes, anybody can die in this movie.
Yeah, that's a killing machine. That's no soul, no
exactly,
no morals,
right. No sympathy for anyone.
And that's one of the things that as far as the themes of this movie, if the shark itself is nature, if the shark itself is death, it comes for us all eventually. And it doesn't matter if you're good, if you're bad, whatever. Right. If you're a child, if you're a dog. But the dogs all go to heaven. That's my belief.
Position to be in is if you're the star of the movie, though. Then you have the best.
Then you're safe. Yeah. The Alex Kintner scene and what follows really sums up for me how great this film is because it's built like a Swiss clock. There's no fat on the bone with this film. And that's not true of a lot of other Hollywood things. We have Alex's bloody flotation device wash up on the beach. We immediately cut to the poster his mother put up, $3,000 reward for anyone who kills the shark. And then we're into the town meeting. Quint appears and on with nothing but like solid scenes that only advance the story. It's a hell of a screenplay.
Right. And it's a great scene when they're debating whether or not to cut the shark open right there in front of people. And it's the mayor who says, or is it Roy Scheider who says?
No, the mayor. I don't want this Kintner boy spilling out.
I mean, that's like his one redeeming moment, the mayor in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. You don't think it's that. And then in the hospital, it's the only time you see any vulnerability from the mayor.
So here's my question for you. Is the mayor a good guy or is he a villain in this piece? It's hard to tell, right? I mean, he seems to be positioned as a villain because he wants to keep the beach open. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. What do you think? Is he just doing his job?
I'm going to drag in Jaws too. He's a bad guy.
All right.
But no. I think it's purposely vague like that because I think Spielberg is saying that he's like so many other people. He is his job. Mm-hmm. He's a Hollywood suit.
Yeah.
He's the guy that's just like, come on time, give me the money. He's all about his job to the detriment of everything else.
Well, yeah, as it turns out, right?
Yeah, but I'll tell you something. Mayor Vaughn, to give him a pass, 9 times out of 10, he's right.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I asked the question.
What are the odds?
Right.
That a killer shark has staked a claim outside? Like, it's so freakish. And he's been there. He's an islander, I'm sure.
Right.
This has never happened.
I mean, he's wearing a blazer with anchors on it, so he knows the sea.
Anchors away, baby. I love that jacket.
I know. That's a great Halloween costume. Just get a blazer like
yeah, you may have to make one. I don't know where they found that. That's
I don't know.
Gorgeous.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, Mayor Vaughn. I love Mayor Vaughn. The more and more I see this film, I've gone through these stages where primarily I'm a Quint guy. I'm like, Quint is just the coolest. But the more and more I see this film over the years, I appreciate Roy Scheider's performance.
Yeah, I think he's great in this.
He carries it. It starts out as a one-hander. And
Mhm.
then it's with Dreyfuss, it's a two-hander, and then it's a three-hander with Shaw. But it only works if Brody is believable.
Right.
And the film is really his journey. And he's changed by the end of it. And everyone else is just along for the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is his first season, right? At Amity?
Yeah. Welcome to Amity.
Really? I mean, the fact that he came back for Jaws 2,
Oh
the character,
God.
not the actor,
Yeah.
is insane.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. And we're not going to talk sequels, but what I
No.
love about Jaws 2 is that Chief Brody, like at the end of Jaws, you're like, oh, the biggest hero that island ever saw. All of that goodwill is immediately erased in Jaws 2. No one
Oh,
believes him
I
because
forget.
if you think about it, all of the Jaws action takes place off camera as far as every other character is concerned.
Right, exactly.
They just have to take his word for it.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't believe that Roy Scheider found a tooth the size of a shot glass. So they're not going to believe this battle that Quint was lost, the orca went down. Like,
Right.
yeah, so it's kind of a buzzkill if you're
Uh,
going in like, oh, Jaws was great, let's go. But it's hard to find a bigger nautical adventure film
Oh, yeah. I mean, the
than
Poseidon
Jaws.
Adventure maybe, but that's very different kind of movie.
Besides what?
Poseidon Adventure,
We
which I
got to do the Poseidon Adventure at some point.
oh, I'm ready.
There's got to be a morning after, and on that morning, we're going to do it because
Okay.
I love it.
So my
Um,
thought as I'm watching this is if they were to make Jaws today instead of back in, the 70s, is that Brody would be played by like, I don't know, like a big action hero who's
don't
totally
say The Rock.
well, I
Yeah.
actually resisted from saying that, but
Mhm.
could be, like that's what it would be. It would be just an action movie, and you wouldn't get into the
Yeah.
actors. It just, I don't think you can make it today in the same way. I mean, you could, but people wouldn't because it wouldn't sell probably.
If you think about it, they've been remaking Jaws without even calling it Jaws for decades. You have like, all the deep water films and
Mhm.
all of the kind of like things about specifically Megalodon, all the shark films. In general, this whole thing of, a monster comes along, nobody believes the one character. That's
Mhm.
been Hollywood fare for decades. But I don't think it clicked in a way because I think Jaws is the first like modern action film that really didn't insult the audience's intelligence. It's not a giant ant.
That's right.
It's like it's nature.
Yeah.
Nature's scary, and most of the earth is covered by water. What's under there? We're finding new shit all the time. So
As someone who
science.
avoids nature as much as possible, I get it. I like inside stuff, I like air conditioning, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we're city people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
But this movie really changes the way movies are made. Once this movie comes out, it's a game changer for Hollywood.
it is for better and for worse. Some people say,
For
but
better for a while, maybe, but maybe now. But I mean, summer blockbusters weren't a thing, right? This was the first.
yep, this started it. It's hard to get the toothpaste back in the tube, and a lot of the problems we see today in Hollywood are from corporations owning these movie companies, and they're still chasing the money,
Mm.
and they don't realize that the money comes when you do quality work. So you can't ape what came before, but people blamed Spielberg for years, and I did too for a while for like and George Lucas for creating this new dynamic, but all they did was make the best films they could and make the films they wanted to see. So
Exactly. Stuff that they were passionate about. They didn't know it was going to spawn all these, knockoffs.
yeah, yeah, totally. So what is your history with Jaws? When did you first see it?
I I first saw it as a little girl.
Me
But
too.
I had heard
I was a little girl too.
Are you making an announcement today?
No.
But it was, you know, it, this was a time, right, when there were only a handful of things to do. So everybody was talking about Jaws, and I couldn't see it at first. And I remember asking my grandfather, and he would always tell me, like it was story time. Like he would tell me the plot of Jaws as a story. And I loved hearing that. And then, of course, I got my father to take me because, his standards were very different from the normal parent. So, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. How about you?
Yeah, my very first movie going experience that I vividly recall. And I saw some of the more brutal scenes between my mother's fingers because I was like, terrified. But I literally remember, and it's what made me scared of the water. I especially remember vividly as a kid just seeing like Dreyfus up to his waist or Scheider up to their waist in the boat
Yeah.
water before and the shark coming in. Oh my God, that did it for me.
So there's a scene, the first shark attack when everyone's on the beach, the Kintner scene, right? And so there's a little, like a teeny tiny little boy, he's maybe 2 or 3, and he's crying on the beach afterwards. And as a little kid, like I couldn't understand why he was crying because nothing happened to him, right? So I was
Right.
little when I saw this. So I said to my father,
Mm.
why is he crying? And my father's classic response was because the shark bit his penis.
Oh boy, your dad should have ran a daycare. We leave him, we love him. Oh my God, that's
It
great.
was funny.
That's Brody's kid who's crying.
Oh, that's who I didn't even
Hmm.
remember that. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. I had assumed he was crying because his sandcastle got knocked down in the commotion of the
Yeah,
beach. But
forget
yeah.
the trauma of seeing all this chaos.
Yeah, he had his own stuff going on. He
That's
was really
right.
yeah, yeah. The beach scenes are so great. And as a kid, we weren't a family that went to the beach. We only ever went to the movies. They took us there. So I was just like, wow, sucks to be you guys. Like I didn't have any personal like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to go in the water anymore. I wouldn't go in the water anyway. But after that, forget about it. You couldn't get me in the beach or in a pool. I've said
Really?
before, yeah, if I can't see the bottom of the pool, forget it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was a kid who was dragged to the beach. I never liked it. I
Mm,
still hate the beach. I don't like sand. The feeling of
yeah.
in my bathing suit is
I'll tell
disgusting.
you when I like the beach. I like the beach in the fall and I'm fully dressed and I'm just walking along the beach and I like the view.
Uh-huh.
I don't like anything else about it.
I hate it. The beach air makes my
Mm,
hair gigantic. I mean,
yeah.
it's not fun. I don't. I know people love the beach, most people, but I also don't like a vacation where I just sit still. That's not my thing. Like I like
Mm,
stuff. So it's just the beach and I are not friends and never
yeah.
will.
Well, you and I will not be Amity deputies anytime
No,
soon.
no. Yeah, I think
Uh,
that's for the best.
yeah, for all of us. What is your favorite death in the movie?
I honestly have to say it's the stunt woman in the beginning, Chrissy.
Yeah,
Number one.
yeah, that
It,
really that sets the whole thing up, and she's
it,
great.
it's so iconic. Just that first tug. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
love
Speaking of that first tug, for a lot of young boys seeing this,
that.
that scene is seminal. No
Oh,
pun
right,
intended again. But
right.
yeah, I mean, with the advent of DVDs, you see a lot more of Chrissy than the filmmaker intended, I'm sure.
Oh, you think? Oh, because you can pause it and stuff
It's
like.
always been dark and grainy, but there's a
Oh,
clarity now. Um,
oh,
but just yeah, that scene, it's a class in movie making because the terror is all above the water
yeah,
and the gore is all implied.
right,
And it sells it in a way that it couldn't if you saw the gore.
right. It's very like Hitchcock. It's very much the same idea.
Yes.
How he might make this movie, might
That's
have.
a that's a great point because he, especially in the years he worked, he had to imply more than show.
Right. I mean, Psycho. You don't see anything, any contact.
Masterful series of cuts
Right.
of all kinds,
Yeah. Right.
movie
Exactly.
cuts. Yeah,
But
yeah,
also, what's so powerful about that first kill is that's when we're introduced to the music.
yes, yes. Although we get the credit. It's so great. We get the credits and the music, and you have no idea what the music denotes. You're
Right.
just the camera going through the wall. You don't even realize you're the shark,
Yes.
and then your harmonica music, you're on the beach with these, post hippie morons.
Right.
And then, yeah, it sets up the shark attack beautifully, the music.
Now, does this movie make John Williams the John Williams that we know today, or is he already an established
He
superstar?
It makes the John Williams we know today, but he was already doing films. He did a ton of films in the 60s, and he was known as Johnny Williams.
Oh, wow.
And he did all of these like fun swinging 60s films like The Guide for the Married Man with Walter Matthau, a personal favorite. And Johnny Williams was real jazzy,
Right.
but working with Spielberg built him into John Williams superstar.
Yeah. And he's still around, still making music.
Still doing. I think he did the last Indiana Jones, didn't he? Like
Yes, he should. He should do every movie.
he should. He should. He did the Universal theme that we hear every time the Universal logo plays. Dum dum. He's ubiquitous.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, how many composers do people really know these days? John Williams is probably number one.
Yeah, it's true.
Who don't write pop music is what I mean.
Right. Let's talk some Richard Dreyfuss. Were you a Dreyfuss fan?
Sure. I really liked The Goodbye Girl at the time.
Me too, Neil Simon.
Yeah. So sure, absolutely I like Richard Dreyfuss.
What's funny is these are two movies I saw in the theater as a kid that they took me to. I just thought Richard Dreyfuss, bespectacled, bearded, dungarees in every film, I thought. Like the first time I saw him without a beard, I'm like, what are you doing? You're killing your career. Like, he's so good in everything.
As a kid, I did not love Close Encounters, but he was, that was a huge, huge moment for him as well.
It's true. Yeah, he was just the go-to guy for a few years there in the 70s.
And also as a kid, I didn't realize that he was young.
Right.
Like, in Jaws, he looked as old as everyone else to me. I didn't get that.
Absolutely. But that's the thing. Like back then, like middle-aged was, what was middle-aged even at that point? 35?
Oh, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's true because I remember, you're going to laugh at me. I remember watching an episode of One Day at a Time, and Bonnie Franklin's character was turning 35, and she was talking about how she was entering middle age. And 35 is young now.
Wow. Yeah, how old was Schneider, if that's what she was approaching?
I know.
Was he 50? Yeah.
He did look old back then.
He did. Pat Harrington, I believe. What's the name?
That's right.
The movie has everything. The way that they set up science versus experience.
Right, Richard Dreyfuss is
science. School versus, the gut feeling.
Right.
Like Dreyfuss and Shaw battling these two archetypes with Brody stuck in the middle.
Right.
It's masterful because when the shark isn't around, you got to want to watch these guys. They've got to be dynamic. Like that scene where they're all post-meal and they're comparing their scars. Like these guys give you stuff when the shark isn't there. That's why it's great.
Did you see The Shark is Broken?
I didn't actually go and see The Shark is Broken, but you did.
I did. They're doing it on Martha's Vineyard, so people can see it if they want to. But what that is, for those who don't know, is Robert Shaw's son, Ian Shaw, found like a journal that Robert Shaw kept when he was shooting Jaws. And so he wrote a play about that, and it's called The Shark is Broken because the shark was always broken. So they had all this downtime that the three of them, and so the three characters are Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, and Richard Dreyfuss. And Ian Shaw, who looks just like his father, played Robert Shaw. And it was crazy. And then Alex Brightman was in it. He played Richard Dreyfuss. And if you closed your eyes, you thought it was Richard Dreyfuss up there. It was incredible.
Yeah, he looked amazing. But Shaw's kid, spitting image, the voice, and wearing the outfit.
I know.
I'm not surprised that Robert Shaw kept a diary because he was a playwright himself.
Exactly. And I think, he was able to improvise some of his dialogue because he was a playwright.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, everyone talks about the Indianapolis speech, which is cobbled together from so many sources. You know, it's Gottlieb, it's Shaw, it's Spielberg,
Yeah.
it's books. It comes from a lot of places.
Now,
But
who did Gottlieb play in this movie? Because I know he's in the movie also.
Carl Gottlieb, one of the script writers, and used to be on the Smothers Brothers show, writer wise, like great improv past. He plays the newspaper guy who's like he assures Mayor Vaughn or Shaw at some point like that he's going to bury the ad for the Kintner reward.
Yeah.
But yeah, oddly enough, too, he knows all the bylaws of the town.
So his part originally was supposed to be much bigger. And to his credit, he wrote it down, actually. He cut a
Yeah.
lot of his stuff because he had such integrity and he only wanted to serve the script.
Yeah, it's true. It's selfless. And I think it's because he came from comedy
Mhm.
where the best idea should always win.
Yeah.
And it should be about, you know, making it as good as you can and not about ego. So yeah, great guy. Gottlieb and Spielberg had a lot of late nights
Mm.
just churning out scenes for them to shoot the following day, all because the shark is broken, as you alluded to. You know, you had to hide the shark, which created a better film and
Right,
everything.
but that was not the original concept.
No, it wasn't. I'm sometimes curious if Spielberg had gotten a shark that worked, what film we would have gotten.
Right. We may not be talking about it today. Probably not.
We might not. But then again, Spielberg, would you really put it past him? It might still be a fun, it might be schlocky. It might be like, oh my God, the shark in this, you have to see it. It did not age well.
Yeah.
Now it's campy, you know, it's like Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
But I don't know, with those performances, yeah, it might have survived the shark, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was talk at one point, very early on, to train an actual shark. It seems like a disaster in the making.
You know, it also goes against the whole, you know, 40 million years of evolution.
Right.
Did not tame him. He's the same as he ever was. And meanwhile, you want to like teach him tricks like at SeaWorld.
Exactly. Right. Like, did you read your own script?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God.
Yeah. So you asked me what my favorite death is in this movie, but what's yours?
It is Quint being eaten alive while
mean,
he
that's
machetes the shark in the eye.
Goes down fighting.
Yeah, and that's part of why I think the movie could have survived a mechanical shark being shown more, because that's as fake as it gets. He's
Right.
up on the deck and he's chewing on Quint, and it's really just a mechanical like this. But the way Quint sells it, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I love that death. I love that death because it's the death Quint deserves.
Yeah.
He cheated that death years earlier during the Indianapolis sinking, and it finally came around to him.
Like
But
Final Destination style.
yeah, exactly. It was always out there waiting for him. The bullet was traveling all these years.
Right.
But yeah, it's the way he would have wanted to go out. And he's already redressed the balance. He took out a lot of sharks that, you know, you took away my friends, I'm going to take. So there's a wonderful symmetry that both the shark and Quint die that day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Quint's entrance into the movie is one of the most disturbing in all movies. Want to say how it happens?
We're at the town meeting and everybody is talking over each other. And Quint silences the room with fingernails on the chalkboard, slowly dragging down.
It's so awful. That's the most terrifying moment in the movie.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it begins his, is he eating biscuits or crackers or something?
I don't remember. I couldn't concentrate on anything but that horrible noise.
Yeah, it's great. And everybody is like kind of skeezed out by it, except for Bad Hat Harry, who's kind of like, hey,
oh my
what
gosh,
a great idea.
So let's talk about the best lines in this movie, because
Mm,
that is one. Bad Hat Harry is
yeah.
maybe the best, maybe my second favorite, and I can't even quote it, but the one about someone who wants to be hot lunch. I'm sure you know the line.
Oh, I'm not going to help somebody who's lining up to be a hot lunch.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah,
hilarious. And that line alone tells you who Richard Dreyfuss's character is.
absolutely.
That's Matt Hooper.
That's Matt Hooper. Yeah. And you can tell that he's always the smartest guy in the room.
Right. And he likes that. He needs to be the smartest
He
person in the room.
needs to be taken from his little rich boy schooling environment where everyone else trades barbs with him, to be brought to this island outnumbered by knuckle draggers who are
You're
throwing
right.
dynamite to try and kill a shark. It's just, he's the fish out of water.
He is.
It's really, ah,
And that's
it's
the clash between he and Quint, because Quint has the experience,
absolutely.
which you
Yeah.
can't, any kind of book knowledge is never going to replace time on the job.
Never. That's at the heart of so many good movies. That's Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
That's, you can read
Right.
about it in books, but you have
That
not
line.
lived. Yep.
I always think about that line. There are a few lines in movies that just stay with me, and that's one of them from Good Will
Yeah.
Hunting.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is until you're there.
Mm. Got to go see about a shark.
And
uh,
the bigger boat line, improvised by
oh,
Roy Scheider.
yeah. That's what a good actor gives you.
Yeah. And he's great in this. Is this your favorite Roy Scheider performance?
I'll tell you, it's a credit to him that I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I love him. It's a short part. I think his character is Babe. I love him in Marathon Man.
I do too.
I
But that's not
love, yeah, I love him because I'm a big Billy Friedkin guy. I
uh-huh.
love him in Sorcerer,
I
based
have not
on
seen
The
Sorcerer,
Wages of
but
Fear.
I hear it's amazing.
You should see it.
I will.
Just you're either going to be like, wow, that was amazing, or you're going to be like, wow, that was a kind of amazing mess. But it's amazing either way.
Okay.
So I love him in that, and I love him in the 7-Ups. But no, my all-time favorite Roy Scheider has got to be The French Connection. Again, the Billy Friedkin. He's so good as Popeye Doyle's partner.
He is. But that's still not my favorite. My favorite is All That Jazz.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he just owns that movie.
I got to tell you, I still have never seen All That Jazz.
Oh my gosh.
It just never seemed, but you tell me I have to see it, I will see it.
I think you need to see it.
I love Gwen Verdon in real life.
Yeah.
So I should probably see the Bob Fosse movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's great. I
Didn't he
mean,
get an Oscar?
he was nominated, but I don't think he got it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that was a very popular movie.
And he replaced Richard Dreyfuss, who was originally cast to play Bob Fosse, if you can believe that.
No, I can't believe that.
I know.
He would have had to train with Danny Terrio like Travolta did to slim down to possibly play Fosse. That's nuts with his frame.
Well,
now I want to see that.
You should. And he and Fosse famously clashed, which you can imagine, because
Fosse and everyone clashed, I'm sure.
But also Richard Dreyfuss has a reputation of not being the easiest to work with. So
that's true. That's true.
Allegedly, we don't know.
We don't know. But you know what? Dreyfuss had said that his career was in the toilet before Jaws.
Right. That's why he took it. He didn't want to take it.
Oh my God. All that Jaws. I want to see Matt Hooper as Fosse.
You have to write it.
Oh, man.
Shark as Bob Fosse.
Shark. Oh. So I'm trying to think of something that we haven't hit yet.
Well, we didn't talk about Ellen much.
Right. Who was, I think, Sid Sheinberg's wife, which is how she got cast.
Exactly. But I think she's fine in this movie. I think she's as good as she needs to be.
She is. And I'll tell you something.
It's not about the women.
It's not. It's not. We are living in a post-Nepo baby world. So it really doesn't matter how she got cast. She's great in this.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
She's all you need.
Yeah. Right. And you don't want a wife who's going to steal focus. You don't need someone who's going to be, amazing. It's just a serviceable part. Like, you don't need more than that.
Right. right.
So to get like a Jane Fonda in that role would be such a waste.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and thinking about the women in this, you have her, Lorraine Gary.
Area.
You have the townswoman who we love,
Love her.
who looks kind of like Mr. Spock with glasses.
Oh, yes.
Um, and you have the victim, the first victim, Chrissy.
Mrs. Kintner.
Um, you have Mrs. Kintner. I like that even though they don't get a lot of screen time, these are really strong archetypes. A lot of different kinds of women are represented. But I also like that the shark victims aren't just women and children, which they
Hmm.
would have been if not for Ben Gardner
Yeah.
and, the dog and Quint.
Right.
Like it comes for everybody.
So I'm sure that you know this, but it's worth pointing out that in the novel Jaws, which came first,
Mhm.
Matt Hooper and Ellen have an affair,
They do. Yeah.
which seems crazy if you would do it with the cast that you have now.
Mm.
But I who knows?
Also,
Who knows why?
yeah. Well, that's the beauty of a novel is you can take more time with stuff. And like in the actual movie, I don't know where you jam in. Maybe he passes out from wine and they immediately have
It would
sex.
slow the movie down. You can't. You
It
can't have it in the
would.
movie. Yeah.
But you get an idea. You're like, okay, I could see that at some point because he's really losing his life to the shark, Roy Scheider. It's he's separating from Ellen.
But we don't really see that so much in the movie. They seem pretty solid.
They do, except that she can't reach him at dinner. She
Hmm.
can't. He's obsessed. He's looking through books. He's kind of like screaming at his kids. He's not the guy she moved to the island with all of a sudden.
No, but they've only been there. What,
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. In the novel, you can't have an affair with, but in the book, who knows how many
right, right, because
weeks?
it's 4th of July. So they've only been there a couple of weeks. That
Right. Right.
would not say much for her. If,
Yeah.
she only gave him like a week or two.
Yeah. I
And
wonder in the book if that affair happens, I wonder if was that the first affair?
oh, that's
Could
interesting.
that have
You
happened?
know, in the
Could they have
book,
moved for like the geographical solution?
maybe. That's
You know?
interesting. But also, in the book, you could bring a history of problems between them that we don't see in the movie.
Exactly.
They're a team.
Exactly right. Yeah.
But I hope somebody does this on the big screen for the 50th anniversary.
The last time I saw Jaws in the theater, I want to say it was like 20 years ago or something. They re-released a lot of movies for like I don't know what, the 35th anniversary, the 30th anniversary. I saw Jaws on the big screen again in a major movie house. And I saw like, a bunch of other Universal films, like they released them, re-released them. And it was really great seeing it with an audience because much like you and me, if we watch this together, all of your responses to the film are the same as everybody else's in the same spots. It's almost Rocky Horror like.
Right.
The laughs are in the same place, the gasps. It's so great. Sometimes there's applause for there's laughter on certain lines. Like everyone knows this movie so well. And I'd wager it's one of the top 5 rewatched movies of all time.
I would think so. It holds up so well.
It does. It's one of those things where you can watch it intently and enjoy it, or you can double screen it.
Yeah.
You can have it as, like me, as the wallpaper, as kind of a lava lamp in the background. And it's equally enjoyable glancing up every now and again and being like, oh, yeah,
Right.
that's
Because
a
your
fun
mind fills
scene.
in. You know it so well.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
also time hasn't really taken its toll on this movie because it's about very basic things. So
it is. And also it's a vanished breed of film
yeah.
in a lot of ways. It's a small popcorn film.
Before
They
that was a thing.
Yeah, and the movies that they make now, and I don't want to be the old guy screaming at
No.
clouds, but much like a really shitty nightclub comic who makes up for a lack of material with volume, Hollywood thinks it can make up for a lack of inspiration with just We throw more superheroes in this. This is the biggest team up ever,
Right.
and it's louder, it's bigger explosions, it's more CGI, it's more and more and more. The box office receipts they're chasing were smaller and quieter.
I don't think
Even,
they exist though anymore. I think just the way people consume media is so different. People aren't really going to the theaters in the way they did then. In 1977 or 76, that's all you could do.
yeah. I wonder how much longer movies have,
I know.
especially now when you don't have to be in the movies to be nominated for an Academy Award, correct?
Well, you do for, a very short period of time. It has to
Yeah,
have a
but
full run for even
but how long before they suspend that rule?
right.
And that's
Exactly.
it for movie theaters.
Exactly. And the streamers, I mean, they're the ones controlling the movies right now. So,
Hmm.
yeah, what do they care if it's in a theater or not? Because
Yeah.
they're making their real money on people watching it at home.
And movie theaters as a thing are always going to be around, like the New Art, the New Beverly,
Mhm.
the revival houses, um, the what's the one where you can sit and eat? Alamo.
Oh, okay.
Like, but they show a lot of times second run movies and things. So revival houses, I feel, will always be a thing. And that's all I really need,
Well,
if I'm
will they
being
though?
honest.
Or, once generations die off, who grew
I
up going
don't
to movies, then I don't know if
I
they're
don't know. I think then it will be the novelty of it. People
I
will
used
keep
to love
going.
going to the movies, just going out and watching a movie on the big screen with people. And now I would much rather watch it at home.
Me too. Primarily, and I've said this a million times, because people don't know how to act
Hmm.
in public. Everyone thinks they're at home now.
Right. They just talk throughout. And
They just talk.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I have to quiet myself all the time.
Police yourself, Isla.
So, I mean, I don't know. I, I think it's fine that the media evolves because that's what people want. People don't want to do that so much anymore, but, I don't know what it means for this kind of thing. But I think you're right, because really, superhero movies are the only guaranteed success at the box office right now.
Yeah.
That and maybe kids' movies.
I don't know. It's so weird to me because I think we're getting far afield, but that's what we do. There are so many imitation movies. You're chasing the original all the time, trying for even a dollop of the original money you made on it. Why not churn out more originals, hoping to hit on the next thing that you can then do 20 iterations of, and you own that intellectual property?
Well,
If
I
you,
guess that it's very hard to find that next thing. So people are afraid to do it. I mean, there's a lot of money at stake. I mean, I'm not advocating for that, but I'm just saying I think that is the reason why.
mm,
I'm with you. I love an original idea. I don't need to see 100 sequels.
yeah. Have you seen any or all of the Jaws sequels?
No, I saw Jaws 2 and I probably saw 3 but I don't even remember.
Well, three was in 3D, if you
Then I
recall.
didn't see that. So maybe I stopped at 2.
Okay.
How about you?
With
Have you seen all of them?
I I am a completist, so
Okay.
yes, I have seen all of them. I think I may own all of them actually on DVD. Having said that, I think it's perfectly fine to stop at two.
I think you probably should stop at 2.
Yes. But
But
after that, you're only watching it for the camp factor
right,
and the
because it changed.
fun.
Yes.
Yes. And even at that, it's kind of boring in stretches. But the great thing about Jaws 2, and I love that they went Jaws 2. They weren't all pretentious and like,
Yeah.
gave its own title. It still has some of the original organic grit under its fingernails from the first Jaws. You have returning characters, you have the feeling you're piggybacking off of the first one. It doesn't try to be something else. At its heart, though, it can't help but be just a retread of the first one.
Right,
So
exactly. And Roy Scheider didn't even want to make the movie, that he was contractually obligated, so he had to make it, but his heart was not in it.
yeah, and you don't have Spielberg, so
Yeah, I mean, that's the big
that's
thing.
everything.
Yeah. It's just saying it's not terrible.
No, it's not terrible. It's a credit to everyone involved that it's not terrible. I think also isn't the well, I'd know better than you probably, but isn't the plot that like the original shark that was killed in Jaws 2, that's like its husband or
Yes. And
love
that it's
interest or
right, like it's purposely going after Brody's kids.
right? It's got a
Who said-
vendetta,
How could I
got a
mean
memory like a crow.
memory?
Yeah,
How would they even know? They weren't there for the first one.
yeah.
Word got
Decades of evolution, Isla. The
yeah. Oh yeah.
millions of years.
Okay. If they say so.
Ah,
All right. Well,
yeah.
in closing, I have one question for you. Yes or no, Sharknado?
A resounding no.
Yeah, me too. A hard no on that
A
one.
hard no.
I didn't even watch it. I couldn't even.
Oh my God. I want to say, isn't Ian Ziering the mind
Yes.
behind that?
Tara Reid, she's in it too.
That's right. Oh, well, Tara Reid, now I'm back on board. But it just goes to show you how far people have gone to kind of play on the chessboard or checkerboard that Jaws created for
Exactly.
something like that, Sharknado. And there's even I saw something that's streaming. I watched like the first half and I was like, even I can't get through this, which is there's a giant shark underneath Paris
Oh, okay.
swimming through the canals of Paris or something. So yeah, it's the Jaws imprint is alive and well
It is.
in all of the movies that try to be it and fail miserably.
As it should. And it's alive in my heart too.
It's alive in my heart. Well, happy anniversary to Jaws and all of you who celebrate. All right. Thanks a lot, Isla.
Until next time.
Till next time, I'll see you in the water.